The Dankwa Institute, a political think tank organization, has urged the youth to patronize e-learning to enhance their skills in technology and digitalization of the education sector in the country. The executive director of the institute, Dr. Antoinette Chibodako, in her address series organized by the institute, said the institute is committed to excellence and progressive development for sustaining the knowledge into the future of the peoples across the country. She admonished basic, senior high schools and tertiary institutions to remain resolute and committed to embrace technology and change in order to produce graduates who are employable and creatively to sustain opportunities and to stimulate economic and social transformation in the country.
Actually contributing to the government of Ghana's digitalization agenda. I think about barely 2 months ago, we heard His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, our Vice President, talk extensively about transforming our economy through digitalization. So in our contribution, we decided to focus on education. We actually have these quarterly lecture series that we've been holding at Dankwa Institute. This is our third one. We're hoping to even do more. And in each of these lecture series, what we want to do is to share knowledge with the public and with citizenry. So we choose critical issues of concern. So I have 11 fellows at Dankwa Institute. So we looked through the different conversations going on, and then we decided that e-learning should be our focus before the year ends. It would fit into the government digitalization agenda, the conversation going on, and at the same time, it will also focus and send a message to education.
A keynote speaker at the lecture series, Richard Osei Inim, during the lecture noted that the Early Childhood Development Basic Schools are Human Capital Index charity, and e-learning at the university's education is second chance initiative as technology is fast transformed in every sphere by distance education.
Countries that make high quality investments in the early years of a child's life in terms of health, nutrition, stimulation and education, those countries are able to produce children and adults with much stronger human capital. There is a scientific reason for this. The brain architecture is formed between the ages of 0 to 5, and the brain's ability to absorb learning is much stronger. If the right investments are made at this age, the brain gets very strong foundations in its ability to learn. As the world enters the fourth industrial age, with a transition from traditional skills-based jobs to jobs meeting the demands of the digital economy, it has been imperative for us to rethink technical and vocational skills as an employable skill for the new digital economy, and possibly explore ways of fusing entrepreneurship into the curriculum. We envisage a new concept of establishing maker spaces in technical and vocational schools across the country, introducing both resources and knowledge of digital fabrication and manufacturing to help train and build the capacity of the students to meet the jobs demands of the fourth industrial digital economy.
Mr. Osei Inim, in an interview, commended the government for investing heavily in the area of TVET, which is the way to go since it's going to create millions of jobs to most graduates after school.
I know TVET has gained an investment of about 1 billion Ghana cedis, deploying infrastructure all over the country in partnership with GIZ, for instance. This national digital literacy projects that we are talking about will make sure that all learners and teachers will have access to digital devices. The teachers will be able to deploy content using those devices. The learning management system, which allows the teachers to be able to even examine and give tests using technology. I've talked about deploying content online. Basically, it actually prepares students and teachers that should there be another COVID, we will not be left unprepared. So the government is making decent investments and strides in that direction.
The Deputy Director of Communication for the New Patriotic Party, Mr. Yao Perko, has entreated members to manage their expertise and not to wash their filthy clothes outside, saying as young as they are, when they feel that something is not going well within the party, the best approach is not for them to go to social media or say all sort of things about the party. Where he cited himself as an example, Mr. Yao made this disclosure at the capacity building workshop for NPP Volunteers Group as part of strategy to break the 8-year cycle of governance in the country.
We made them realize the need to keep the NPP in power. The NPP is what we have. The NPP is a party we have. We've all grown into it. And we know what the NPP stands for. So once you identify with such a tradition, you can't give up in the middle of the way. The party is your goal. The party is your focus. You don't look at the government. You bring the government to power and ensure that you deliver for the people. But if you have an expectation, maybe an individual expectation, that you say the government hasn't met and so you are angry, that is not it. For me, we all have our aspirations as individuals, we all have our goals as individuals. But the larger picture is what drives us. What should be the focus? That, okay, this is what we are achieving for the entire nation. This is what we are doing for everybody, including ourselves. So that should be the focus and that should be the goal, not what you as an individual has not received. And so that is what we've been telling the people. That is what we've been encouraging the people to understand. And that is what has driven us for the past 22 years. That we've been with this tradition. That this is the NPP and this is what we stand for. So we give birth to governments. Focus on the party and ensure that you are part of the processes that give birth to the governments of NPP that would come and do better things for the people of Ghana. So the party should be the focus and not who is in government or who is not in government and all of that. No. Else you would have problems with a lot of individuals. But once your party is your focus and you believe that the party will continuously give birth to government, if you don't get something now, it will come later. So stay with the party and continue to work and keep your hope alive that one day it will be your turn.
In an interview with the national president for Bold Patriots, Madame Renelle Nanaya Buidu, she narrated that it has become a trend in Ghana politics that when NPP comes to spend 8 years in power, the NDC also has to rule for 8 years. According to her, they are looking at ways and means that the volunteer groups of young and vibrant in the NPP would break the 8-year cycle so that the NPP would continue to stay in power and protect the good works of President Akufo-Addo to boost the economy.
This program is dubbed Youth Activism in Volunteerism, the role of the volunteers in breaking the 8-year cycle rule for NPP. We know that there is this trend where NPP leads for 8 years and then NDC also leads for 8 years. Now NDC has ruled for 8 years and then NPP is yet to rule for 8 years. Now we are looking at ways and means that we as a volunteer group, we as the young and vibrant youth of the NPP will break the 8-year cycle rule so that NPP will continue to be in power, so that all these massive infrastructure we are seeing, how they are doing to boost the economy, it will continue. Because we believe when we go into a position and the NDC comes in, they come to destroy everything that NPP has taken time to build. So today we have gathered here to empower the members of the group. We have gathered here to give them the skills, the prerequisites that they need for them to be able to go out there and speak to the ordinary Ghanaians, the policies that NPP has put in place, which is helping boost the economy.
Madame Renelle Buidu further called on NPP leaders to see volunteer groups, grassroots supporters as partners to the moving forward of the NPP and treat them with the necessary attention when they come to them for directions and support.
The volunteer group, the grassroots, the masses, they are out there making sure that we propagate the good news of the NPP, the good deeds that the NPP is doing. So they've also been putting a certain vantage position in various offices so that they can actually have a look at the ordinary and NPP member. So when the person comes to you, oh, that's probably, I want one slot for NSS placement, you don't need to turn your back on the person. Or probably, I want one slot when it comes to nursing. You don't have to say you are busy. Or even sometimes it's your presence that the people need. So when they have a program like a typical one that we have and we send you invites, I mean, you shouldn't be too busy to attend just a meeting or a conference to speak to the people. Sometimes your presence alone make a difference. So they should have a listening ear for the volunteer groups. I mean, every member of NPP. It's not because when you get to the high office, you forget that it's some people who went to campaign for you to be able to occupy that high office that you are enjoying now.